Long before people talked about the legend of Atlantis, there was another ancient place. It was a sacred land lost to time known as Lemuria. Some people call it Mu. Others speak its name during meditation or in their dreams. No matter how the name comes to you, Lemuria brings a feeling that touches something deep inside the heart. Imagine a world that wasn't built through war or control, but through peace, love, and inner wisdom. A place where people were close to nature, to each other, and to a higher power. Their tools were not made of metal or machines. They used sound, energy, and intention. This wasn't just a story or a forgotten land. It's a memory that still lives inside many people. Some people feel a pull toward this memory, even if they don't know why. Have you ever looked at the sea and felt like you belong there? Or felt your heart guiding you towards something you can't explain? If yes, then this video is for you. Today we'll look closely at the story of Lemuria. We'll learn where it came from, why it vanished, and what it means for people walking a spiritual path today. This is more than just learning about history. It's a message for your soul. Watch till the end. Something inside you might wake up. Something you didn't even know was there. Let's take this journey into the soul of Lemuria together. Lemuria is one of the most interesting and mysterious ancient places people have talked about. Its story comes from old spiritual teachings, hidden knowledge, and quiet messages passed down through time and across the world. Many believe Lemuria came long before Atlantis. It was a huge land in the Pacific Ocean, connecting places we now call Asia, Australia, South America, and Africa. The name Laamria first came up in the 1800s. Some scientists used it to explain why animals like lemurs were found on faraway lands. They thought there was once a land that joined these areas, helping animals move between them. Later, science dropped this idea, but the story stayed alive. Spiritual people began to talk about Lemuria, not as just a theory, but as a real place where people once lived in peace and light. For spiritual seekers, Lemuria is more than an old land. It shows a time when people lived close to the earth and spirit. It was a beautiful place where people were kind, loving, and deeply in touch with their hearts. They didn't live by ego or fear. They lived with unity and awareness. They didn't use words to talk. They shared thoughts, feelings, and energy. Their tools were not solid, but based on vibration and frequency. People in Lemuria lived in tune with nature. They could talk to trees, animals, and even the weather. Their whole way of life was built on love, growth, and helping each other become better. Every soul had a reason to be here, and everyone lived by that reason. Many people think Lemuria was where spiritual knowledge on Earth first began. It's believed to be the starting point of many healing methods, the origin of wisdom about crystals, sound healing, and energy work, all things we're now beginning to rediscover. When Lemuria disappeared, its knowledge didn't vanish. It was hidden inside the earth, inside crystals, in special places, and most deeply, in the DNA of the people who once lived there. So, when we ask what Lemuria really was, we're not just talking about a lost land. We're talking about a missing part of human awareness. It's a memory that still lives inside people who feel a pull to wake up and return to a life filled with peace, love, and spiritual connection. Now that the world is changing again, many believe it's time to remember Lemuria not as a story, but as a way back to our true selves. When we talk about Lemuria, we aren't just describing an old place under the sea. We're talking about a way of living, a kind of awareness, and a spiritual feeling that many believe we are slowly returning to. Lemuria matters not only because of its history, but because that same energy still lives inside us today. It stands for the soft, loving power of the divine feminine. This energy is full of love without limits, emotional understanding, and deep inner wisdom. In Lemuria, people respected their inner voice and saw it as the highest kind of knowledge. They felt a strong connection to the earth, to the sky, and to each other from the heart. Unlike Atlantis, which is known for its focus on thinking and technology, Lemuria was more about feelings, peace, and spiritual depth. The people there didn't try to rule or build great empires. They focused on the soul, on growing kindness, and on living in tune with nature and the universe. They are said to have lived with open minds, open hearts, and without fear or pride. They used telepathy to share thoughts. They talked using light and sound energy. They didn't heal with pills, but with energy and purpose. They saw each other as part of the same divine source. That's why so many spiritual people feel a strong connection to Lemuria. It reflects the life many of us wish to return to. A life full of peace, balance, faith in the unseen, and connection to everything. Lemuria is not just a memory of a land, it's a feeling that lives deep in our spirit. Some people believe those who feel close to Lemuria today are starseeds or souls from that time who have come back now to help raise the world's energy to bring more love, healing, and spiritual truth. Maybe you've always felt a little different. You might feel things deeply, love the ocean or the stars, or have dreams of floating cities or ancient temples under the sea. Maybe you've even heard voices calling your name in those dreams. These are not random. They are signs that your soul remembers something. And the more you let this energy in, the more your spiritual powers begin to grow. Laamria does not call us to run away from life. Instead, it invites us to bring higher awareness into our daily lives, to live kindly, to lead with love, and to help not only ourselves but the world around us heal. The spiritual power of Lemuria lies in its ability to awaken something deep inside us. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we are sacred, and that we hold ancient wisdom within us. As the world enters a new time of spiritual awakening, Laamria becomes more than a memory. It becomes a guide, leading us back to our true selves. The story of Lemuria began when the earth was still new, when the planet's energy was soft, flowing, and in tune with higher realms. It is said that the people of Lemuria were some of the first advanced souls to live here. These beings came to Earth with a purpose to bring light, spread love, and enjoy the beauty of living while staying deeply connected to the divine. They are believed to have come from star systems like the Pleiades, Sirius, and others with high vibrations. They chose Laamria not to rule, but to create a peaceful world, full of love, spiritual growth, and harmony with nature. Their greatness wasn't about power. It was about awareness. They lived knowing that every form of life is sacred and everything is connected through energy. Their civilization grew slowly and naturally. Their cities weren't made of stone and metal but of crystal, light, and living shapes that blended with nature as if the earth itself was singing them into form. They lived in close connection with the oceans, the mountains, and the skies. Many believe they could move between worlds, traveling through light and meeting beings from other dimensions. During this golden age, there were no wars, no competition, and no rulers. Their focus was on healing, learning, and growing the soul. Lemurians lived in soul groups, each with its own role and purpose. Some healed, some taught. Some worked with sound, others with crystals. All of them followed their intuition and acted from love. But even in the most beautiful places, change eventually comes. Over time, the Earth's energy began to shift. Heavier energies started to grow. A new way of thinking started spreading in different areas. This is when Atlantis began to rise. While Atlantis focused on science and logic, Lemuria stayed centered on the heart and spirit. This difference created a conflict between the two. Laamria didn't fall all at once. Its decline was slow, like a wave slowly pulling the land away. Some say natural disasters like volcanoes, earthquakes, and floods broke the land apart. Others believe the Lemurians knew their time was ending and chose to leave, some going into the inner earth, others returning to the stars or spiritual realms. Many people believe that before Lemuria disappeared, its people stored their knowledge in crystals, in sacred places, and in the DNA of their future children. They built temples under the oceans and hid healing tools deep underground to be found again when humanity was ready. Some believe that traces of Lemuria still exist today in places like Hawaii, Easter Island, Mount Shasta, and the Andes. These special places on Earth like Hawaii, Mount Shasta, and others are believed to be powerful energy points. The energy of Laamria still exists there, quietly waiting for those who are ready to remember it. The end of Lemuria was not a disaster. It was a transformation, a natural part of the great cycle of rising and falling, of beginnings and new beginnings. It offered humanity a powerful lesson. When we forget love, harmony, and connection, even the greatest societies can fade away. But the spirit of Lemuria didn't die. It went inward, waiting for the moment when the world would be ready to live in peace again, to honor the earth, and to follow the wisdom of the heart. In today's noisy and busy world, the voice of Lemuria is like a soft whisper, gently reminding us to slow down, take a breath, and return to what truly matters, our hearts. Even though the land of Lemuria may now lie under the ocean, its energy is rising once again. It calls out to those who are ready to live with awareness, reconnect with nature, and awaken the ancient wisdom that still lives inside us. Lemurian teachings remind us that we are not separate from nature. We are not above it or outside of it. We are part of it. Just like the Lemurians honored the oceans, the trees, the animals, and the sky, we too are being asked to remember that Earth is alive and aware. And when we treat her with love and care, she responds with healing, clarity, and abundance. One of the deepest lessons from Lemuria is the wisdom of the heart. The Lemurians lived through their hearts. They communicated through emotions, feelings, and deep understanding. They trusted their inner guidance more than rules, more than logic, more than outside opinions. And this is something we are being called to remember today. In our world, where thinking is loud and hearts are often ignored, Lemurian wisdom asks us to switch things around, to let love guide us instead of fear, and to listen to our intuition instead of the noise around us. In our fast-moving lives, the Lemurian path reminds us that being present in the moment opens the door to the divine. When we are fully present, we are aligned with something greater. The Lemurians lived in harmony with the natural flow of life. They rose with the sun, honored the moon's cycles, planted dreams with the seasons, and felt the energy of each day. They believed everything is energy. And when we live in balance, energy flows freely. Life becomes easier, and healing happens naturally. They also honored true community, not as social groups or followers, but as soul connections. Lemurians lived as one, without ranking each other. Every person had a special purpose, and their main goal was to help each other grow. This wisdom today reminds us to look past outer differences and see that underneath our fears and masks, we are all beings of light. And when we unite in truth, beautiful things can happen. One of the most powerful parts of Lemurian knowledge is the belief that each of us carries ancient memories and spiritual power within our DNA, hidden gifts and wisdom that are waiting for the right moment to awaken. Now, as the world is going through big changes, more and more people are feeling something awaken inside. A quiet pull to meditate, to explore healing energy, to connect with crystals, and to learn about vibrations and frequencies. These are not new trends, they are ancient memories. This is the path of Lemuria. If you feel a deep love for the ocean, the stars, or healing, if you often feel deep emotions or a quiet sense that life is more than what we're told, then you may be starting to remember your true self. Your soul might carry the light of Laamria, and now that light is ready to shine again. Lemurian wisdom doesn't ask you to be perfect or to leave everything behind. It simply invites you to return to what is true, to walk gently on the earth, to speak kindly, to honor how you feel, to live with purpose, and to trust the light you carry inside. By doing this, you are not just remembering Lemuria, you are helping it return. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're here in this lifetime. Because the earth needs Lemurian souls now more than ever. Souls who can hold the energy of love, bring healing light, and show the world a softer, wiser way to live, a way guided by the heart. Have you ever looked at the stars and felt a deep, unexplained longing? Have you stood by the sea and felt like it was calling your name? Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit into this world? Like your heart remembers a time before time, a place where love was pure and everything felt right? If so, you might be a Lemurian soul. Lemurian souls are said to be ancient beings who once lived in Laamria and have now returned to help raise the energy of the earth. These people often carry deep inner wisdom, even if they don't know where it comes from. They are drawn to healing, spiritual work, and the great mysteries of the universe. They feel things deeply and have a strong natural empathy. They can feel the energy of others. If you love nature, feel peace near water, are sensitive to light, sound, and energy, and feel most alive when you are helping others, you might be carrying the energy of Lemuria within you. You might be someone who values unity more than competition, love more than logic, peace more than power, and deep connection more than control. Many people who carry Lemurian energy feel like old souls, wise beyond their years. They often feel out of place in today's world, not because they're confused, but because they remember something sacred, something softer and more meaningful. They may be drawn to crystals, sacred patterns, meditative sounds, or ancient star systems like the Pleiades or Sirius, because deep within, they know they've been connected to those places before. Lemurian souls didn't come here to blend in. They came here to shine, to awaken, and to gently guide others back to their true essence. Their mission doesn't always involve grand actions. Sometimes it's simply being kind, holding space, speaking gently, choosing love when the world is ruled by fear. So if you've always felt a bit different, if your heart longs for a life filled with more purpose, more peace, more love, you may be a Lemurian soul, awakening to your real journey. And that journey doesn't begin by chasing things outside of you. It begins by remembering what has always lived inside, the light, the wisdom, the love of Laamria, waiting to rise again. As we end this walk through the mystery of Lemuria, pause for a moment. What do you feel inside? Maybe a memory, maybe a quiet emotion, maybe just a soft sense that you are far more than the world has led you to believe. The story of Lemuria is not only about the past, it's a mirror, reflecting something deep within your soul. If anything in this touched your heart, If your spirit felt seen, trust that. Follow that. The path of remembering isn't always easy to explain, but it is always real. And you are never walking it alone. The light of Lemuria is rising again through you, through me, through all of us. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for listening, and thank you for remembering. Until we meet again, walk gently, live from the heart, and carry the ancient light forward.